and welcome to my channel called A Knitter's Soul. My name is Elo and I am coming to you from Oslo, Norway. As the name suggests, this podcast is primarily about knitting, but from time to time I do mention also a little bit of crocheting, maybe some sewing in the future, and maybe some embroidery. So if you are interested in knitting or just creating, crafting, do feel welcome to stay and spend some time with me. I want to start off this episode with well, first of all, huge thank you to every single one of you who have clicked like, who has commented and subscribed. Thank you so much. That really means a lot. I do appreciate every single one of you, and I'm not taking that for granted at all. So thank you so much. It means the world to me. And I also want to do a special mention today to three lovely ladies that I had the pleasure of getting to know a little bit more when I released my previous episode 3. So those ladies are Ursula from South Africa, Sheila from Ireland, and Anne from Australia. Thank you so much, ladies, for spending some quality time with me. I really enjoy that. It was so much fun talking to you, getting to know you, and getting your feedback live right there and then. So it was an unplanned chat that just happened. I am still getting used to a lot of new features that I didn't know existed in YouTube, and it just happened. It wasn't planned, but it was a lot of fun. So thank you, girls, for hanging out with me. Just a little bit of practical information, I guess. I do have a group in Ravelry, which is called A Knitter's Soul. So if you feel like coming and chatting and saying hi over there, you're more than welcome to do so. I have also created a thread for Koivu sweater, so if you feel like sharing your Koivu with me, that would be lovely. I would love to see your color combinations. It doesn't matter if it's Koivu light or if it's Koivu. I just love seeing what you create and the color combinations, because I find that to be very inspiring to see how other people are combining their colors, or I have also created a scrappy project thread, and what I'm hoping with that thread is that if you have some great patterns that you would recommend, then you would maybe either link them there or mention their names, or just share what you have created, because I find it also to be very inspiring to see how other people use up whatever they have in their stash, being it a full skein or ball of yarn, or if just it being some leftovers. So come on over, say hi, come with suggestions and inspiration. It's just come and say hi, I guess. I also want to mention 2 shops this time around, because when I was chatting to these 3 ladies on the live chat, I asked them for yarn shop recommendations, and I got 2 shops. One was Fiber Lily. I'm like checking my notes. One is Fiber Lily from Australia, and I did go there and I did look at the yarns, and there was so much beautiful yarn, and I was very tempted to buy some, but what was stopping me is that, unfortunately, for the time being, I find that the postage from Australia to Norway is a little bit steep. It was like $64.75 to send to Norway, so I'm gonna leave that for maybe a future thing, when I feel I can splurge a little bit both on the yarn and the postage. But yeah, check out Fiber Lily as a shop. There was a lot of beautiful yarns there. Like I did like quite a few colorways and was, like I said, really tempted. So the only thing was stopping me was the postage, and also the system is in Norway that if you buy something from abroad and it goes over a certain amount of money, then you also have to pay customs. So if I was to maybe just place a bigger order in order to make sense to that postage, then I would also have to pay most probably for customs. So it would just end up being a little too expensive for the time being. Maybe in the future I would love to, because she did have a lot of nice yarn there. The other shop that I was recommended is This Is Knit. This is an Irish shop, and there were a lot of beautiful yarns, different brands, and I did look at a few skeins and actually went to buy them, but they were out of stock. So that is something I will check out again at a later time. But yeah, This Is Knit in Ireland. I will link both of the shops below. So if you are well, either local in the country or you would love to try out new yarns, different yarn dyers, then you'll find the information below. So yeah, let's get started with the knitting content, and we can start off with what I'm wearing. This is my Octake sweater by Sari Nordlund. Just stand up a little bit. The pattern is only in the yoke, so the rest is just white, simple, like, yeah. Yeah, I made this, was it in the beginning of the year? Yeah, it's not long ago since I finished it. I can actually check it out, can't I? There it is. Yeah, February. I made this in February. It is a free pattern, and I believe it is in English and in Finnish. It's on Novita webpage. Again, I will link everything below. And I knitted out of Hillesvåg Fjord. It's a sock yarn. And to be quite honest, one of the reasons why I ended up choosing this particular yarn is that I just had this idea in my mind that I wanted to be like this crispy white with this kind of a cobalty blue. It's not really showing up that well on camera. It is a lighter tone to the blue, because I was thinking about the you know, the China that is like this white and blue kind of patterning. Yeah, I will see if I can find some images and post them there. That was kind of like what was popping up in my head when I saw this pattern, and when I decided to make it, I just kind of had that idea that I wanted to be like that. I have made the smallest size, which is, I believe it was an XS, extra small, I mean, XS. But it's quite a spacious size anyway. Well, not like a huge size, but I don't remember now if I I think I got gauge, I think. And I started knitting with that needle. And it was coming out way too big. It was kind of curling and was not looking good. When I put it on, it was just too much fabric. So I believe I went down either a quarter of a needle or half a size needle. I don't exactly remember. But yeah, I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I think it's really pretty. Yeah, and it's like a really simple, like with Italian bind off. And yeah, like a double color, I think it was. Feels like it. Yeah, it's a double color. And yeah, I'm really happy with the way it turned out. So, and Sadi, she has a lot of beautiful patterns. I made a couple of summer tops of hers this summer. Yeah, actually, I mean, I've liked her for quite a while, and I like a lot of her designs. And I had favorited a lot of them. I had purchased some patterns, and then this yarn shop here in Norway called Garnbutikken, Garnbutikken Fortuna, which I have mentioned quite a few times. They had a year of Sari Nordlund knit along, so you could knit whatever you wanted, or like whichever of her patterns, as long as it was 5 or 6 garments of hers of sorts. And they could be small garments, as in socks or hats or whatever, or like big garments. So this is my Sari Nordlund, one of those knits that I did, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I think it's so pretty. Like, yeah. So yeah, that was what I'm wearing. I'm also wearing some knitted socks, but I'm not gonna be pulling out my feet. So yeah, so that was what I'm wearing, and I guess we can go on with finished objects. It's a tongue twist there for a moment. Actually, this time oh no, actually I do have a knitted finished object. I forgot about this already. It's my socks that are inspired by mini Pettini socks. The pattern mini Pettini. And yeah, I'm really happy with the way they turned out. And the yarns are Drops Fabel. Was it a 401? I do not remember. I didn't note down the numbers. Everything is written in my Ravelry project page, so if you are interested in knowing more of the numbers, anything, you can check it out there. The colorful yarn in between is Selma Permin Selma, I think is that's the right order. And then it's Vilcolana Arvetta Army Green. So yeah, they're finished. Really happy with the way they turned out. Very simple socks. I have like this shifty patch heel for a stronger heel. But yeah, I've been really wanting to cast on some more socks, but just haven't had the time to do so, because there is one project that has been taking up a lot of my knitting time, which I will get to later on. Yeah, so my next finished object is a crochet object, and it is another scrappy yarn basket. I love it so much. I'm so pretty. I have used up so many scraps now that I'm actually running low on my scraps, and I would love to make another one at a time. But yeah, I added some golden thread. You can just barely see it on the top there. Just, oh, I mean, it's so pretty. I love it. This time around, I think I still had the same amount of strands of yarns, like about 7, 8 or something that I had also last time. But as I wanted this one to be more sturdy, I guess, to stand up a little bit more, because the other one is more like basket bag, and I like it like that for the size that it is. So I went down a needle size, not a needle size, hook size. So this one is crocheted with a 7mm needle, and I think it's so pretty. And I'm probably gonna be using it as a basket for active projects, because I like having like an open basket for the project that I'm working on like currently, because it's like easy to pull out the yarns without the skeins or like the balls of yarns running away anywhere. And I like kind of like having that I can like always see what's in the basket kind of thing. So yeah, but it is very gratifying. It's like, if you haven't made one of those yet, I mean, like, I want to say do it, because it's fun to make. You get to use up all those beautiful yarns you have that are maybe too little to make anything big, or yeah. But also, like, a little bit of warning, it's a little bit addictive, because like I said, I want to make more, so I am kind of like just waiting for more scraps, because I pretty much used up, like, I used to have 3 cakes of yarn with different sock yarns that I had, like, what's it called again? Tied together? I can't think of it right now, but you know what I mean. Like, I made one big ball out of many, many, many leftover yarns. But yeah, I can highly recommend this kind of project. It's so quick, gratifying, and like I said, you get to use up all these beautiful yarns you have and love, and then you get to see them, which is fun. So yeah, that was my second finished object. Then my third finished object, sorry about the crinkling, is actually a major UFO. Like, it's so old that I don't know when I started it. I have no recollection, because it's way too long since. And I've been moving this project around like a couple of times, like during moving from one apartment to another apartment. I know that much. So it's quite a long time ago since I cast it on, but still, I don't know exactly when. And then I've been moving around in my crafts room, when I've been like changing things up and like organizing things differently. And I always thought I had much more left than what I actually did. And when I realized how little I had left, I was just thinking it's too stupid of me to not finish it up, because all I was missing was half of the edging, like the crochet edge. So what it is a placemat. Whee! And it's finished, finally. So, like I said, I have no clue when I cast it on. I know it's just a major UFO. It's been like unfinished for a very, very long time. And like I said, I was just missing like an edge and an edge. And I think even like I had actually come to like maybe there. So I didn't even have like a full long like edge, or like it was just silly small amount that was kind of left. But it's done. And I'm so happy with it. Oh, I have one end that is not, oh, it is woven in, but I haven't cut off it. Okay. So yeah, one less UFO in my craft room. And like I said, it's meant to be a placemat, but I don't think I will be making many more of them. For a couple of reasons. One is, well, actually not for a couple of reasons. That's not right to say. One of the main reasons is that when I was crocheting the edge, and I was crocheting it on a 1.25 millimeters needle, so it's a quite small needle, which in itself is fine, but I was getting pains in my arm. So if I was to make one of those, or like a couple of more of those, then it would be like a long time project. And I don't know if I enjoyed this so much. And I also kind of like, I'm like, when I see it here on the screen, I think it's quite pretty and it's nothing wrong with it, but I think I would love to make it in a more fun color. Maybe. I don't know. I'll see about it. At least this one is finished and not like a bad conscience anymore. I think it's from a book I have somewhere. I'm not sure. This is like what I've been carrying, or like what was with the project. It's really pretty. Like, I do feel tempted, like, oh, it would be nice to have 6 of them at least, like for a whole set of people coming over. But if I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I will be making a bunch more. This is a yarn. I do not know the brand or anything really about it, but yeah, it's finished, so I'm so happy with that. Let me just put this away without making too many crinkling sounds. So that was that for finished objects. Let's move on to what I'm working on. And I was gonna say it's really one thing only, but no, I've been working on 2 things. But this project has for sure taken up most of my knitting time. And it is my Twist and Turns knit along, Mr. Knit Along with Stephen West. Did I just show it? No, kind of. So if you are participating in a knit along and you're not done, well, I'm working on clue 4 is kind of what I'm trying to get to. So if you're not done and you don't want to see, then close your eyes, I guess is what people are saying. Like, don't look, because it's gonna be a spoiler in that case. Yeah. Yeah. Close your eyes because it's coming now. It is long. Long. I think it's so pretty. I'll show you this side where I have everything kind of done. I have like added in those I-cords there. Actually, this part here I have knit 1.5 times because I had misread the pattern and I was decreasing way too quickly. Because you have this pattern repeat of, is it 8 rows? Yeah, 8 rows. And during those 8 rows, you're supposed to decrease 2 stitches 3 times and 1 stitch 1 time. And I was doing 2 stitches 4 times. So I was kind of like, yeah, decreasing way too quickly. So I had to repeat back and start it over. Otherwise, I would have been probably done with this whole thing. but I really like it. I think it's so pretty. I'm still kind of like so in love with the yarns. The copper is so beautiful. Even though it's not my go-to kind of color, I do love it. I think it's so cool. It's, yeah, kind of chic and lovely. And I love those little flecks or rust in the scrap metal yarn. That's the dark gray. And yeah, I'm looking forward to having it finished and blocking it and getting it done and everything. So this I-cord bit was optional, but when I saw it, I was just like, oh, I have to have that. And also I was like, but it's gonna be a lot of I-cord knitting, and I'm not, I mean, like, I-cords are fine, there's nothing wrong with them, but just knitting that one cord is kind of boring. So I cheated, and I'll show you in a bit how. But also, like, yeah, so I have like a little bit left there, not much, just a little tiny bit more. I am thinking of doing a little bit of different ending on this bit there, which is section 10, I believe, because I quite like how the shawl is kind of like this nice long shape. So I wasn't so keen on those very, or like those triangles, like the chevron thing that goes out so far and creates this extra. I mean, it's pretty, there's nothing wrong with it. I just think that for me as a person, I would like to do something different. So I've been thinking about a couple different options. I haven't landed on anything 100%, but I have an idea of how I want it to be. So yeah, you'll see next time. I think it's going to be hard to describe right now, and also I don't have it like a clear picture. I have an idea, but not a clear picture. But anyway, I think this is so genius. It's so simple but so effective, and that's why I wanted them so bad. But as I said, I wasn't too keen on, sorry about the on knitting all those I-cords, because that is 10 I-cords I have to knit, and I think they were each 6 rows or something, like 18 centimeters it was supposed to be. So what I did was like, I have a knitting mill, let me try if that works. So I pulled out this, and it worked like a charm. And it was quick, it was nice. I think I did, well, I'm not sure, but maybe it took me an hour to make all those 10 I-cords, to sew them together, or like get them into the cables and sew them together. And yeah, it was very, very quick. The only thing that really took time was figuring out how much yarn I needed to get the right length of an I-cord. So I did a couple of tries on that, and then once I had figured that out, then I just measured out 10 times of that length from that yarn, and that way I knew they were gonna be all the same length and not worry about how if they're gonna be the same or not. And one of the reasons, sorry, why I had to do it like that was because when you're using a knitting mill, if you haven't used one before, I can show it to you quickly. Like, this is the thing, this is a knitting mill, really lovely. Like if you are a big user of I-cords, like adding them, then you know this is a lovely tool. The thing is, like, when you attach the yarn, it goes through this hole there, and then you add a weight to it, and when you do that, the whole I-cord stretches. So you kind of have to do some figuring out. I'm not doing a good job explaining. I was having to kind of like lift it carefully up without like losing attention too much, kind of thing, because it does, like if you don't have a proper tension, it can give you uneven I-cord, which makes sense in a way. When you don't have the tension, it's not gonna work in same good manner. Anywho, I'm doing a horrible job here explaining. If you have one of these and you have not made those cables, well, not cables, those I-cords yet, but because you just cannot be bothered to do I-cords, use one of these. Works just like a charm. So recommend it. And if you, yeah, like I said, if you use I-cords a lot, then this is a beautiful tool. It doesn't take up much space. It's really easy to set up. And yeah, well, isn't really much more to say about that now, is it? It's a great tool, is what I'm trying to say. And it's nice to bring out those tools from time to time and make use of them. But yeah, I'm really loving my shawl. I think it's so pretty. Love the details. But yeah, looking forward to getting it finished all the way, blocking it, and yeah, I'm sure it'll be done by next time. So, yay! And if you are interested, I'm gonna refresh your memory on the yarns. Oh, I'm stuck in the yarn here now. It is silver from Garnboutique and Fortuna. A lot of great yarns there. And then it's copper. It's also Garnboutique and Fortuna. I'm just trying to see what it'll look. It's, yeah, that's more like the color. It gets too blown out when it's so close, but it's just so pretty. And also I like the fact that the silver, it looks very like solid on like the camera and also when just looking at it, but there is some nice variation to it, which gives very nice depth to it. And it's scrap iron. This is Garnfene, a Norwegian dyer as well. And they also have a lot of really lovely yarns. So yeah, I do recommend them. Check them out. Yeah. So those were the yarns. That was my shawl. And let me just clear that away without pulling out so many needles here. Okay. Then trying to think how I should proceed from here. Actually think I'm gonna, no, is that the good way of doing it? Yeah, I'll show you some older projects of mine, just partially because I've seen quite a few comments. And yeah, okay, about the comments, it's been really fun to read about you and how you view knitting as a craft, and I'm referring to if you're a produce knitter or a project knitter. I see a lot of you are very much both, but there are a few voices actually that also said that were maybe more produce knitters, and there were a few that mentioned that planning a project is just as big of a part of this knitting experience as knitting and as getting a finished product, which I absolutely agree with, because I am the same. Sometimes the planning is almost the best part of it. Just because of the fact, for me at least, is you know, you've been looking maybe at the yarns and you're thinking and you're playing in your head with how can I make this work, what can I make out of it, and then you're just like, ta-da, there it is, and that is so gratifying. Did that make sense now? I don't know. Anyhow, I've seen a couple of you are very much too kind and too lovely with your words and praise. So I feel very humbled and very honored that you view at me as somebody who's very skilled at what I'm doing. And a few of you are feeling intimidated by like starting maybe off with color works or whatever technique that it is that you find difficult, or not difficult necessarily, but it's intimidating once if you haven't tried something. And also I think we sometimes have too high expectations of making everything perfect from the very get-go. So I came to think that I have actually quite recently been sent by my mother my very first socks. So these I knit in school. I don't exactly remember how old I was, but I know it was very early in my knitting days, as in school. And we had to design our own socks and knit them. So here goes to show that, you know, we all start somewhere. Nothing is perfect. The tension is not good. You can see like the stitches are gonna like disappearing at times, and yeah, it's not great, but you know, we all start somewhere. Sorry. And also these two socks are not the same size. Well, like they're very close to, but they're not. You can see, yeah, you can see like when I'm matching up the edge there, and then you see this one sock is slightly bigger, and you can actually see it on the length as well. And this is due to my mom had a lot of needles, and somehow, I mean, like they were not marked with the size, and somehow I had managed to mix on the second sock in a couple of needles that were smaller than on the first sock. And I remember when I realized that, I was devastated, but you know, at the time it was fine. So yeah, we all start somewhere, designing our things or knitting our things. This is my first design in socks from way back when. I guess some odd 30 years at least, if not more. So yeah. It's fun to look at all the details. So yeah, those were my first socks that I ever made, that I can remember at least, because I just have this vivid memory of having to design socks for the school and knit them, because we had, I guess by then, learned how to do the heel flap and turn it and stuff, so we had to kind of put it in use. So yeah, those were my first socks. And then this is many years later, I'm quite sure, but I think I must have been late teens or so when I made this hat. And I also made a pair of gloves with the same kind of patterning, with Estonian braid there, kind of like picking up elements of like this classical traditional kind of sweaters, I think it is. I don't think we have them so much in mittens or such, but yeah, whatever wool yarn that my mom had, I put it in use and created this hat. And there's a little tassel on it. And because it is woolly wool, and I do tend to itch on my forehead, then I have attached this kind of like a fuzzy kind of fabric. Yeah, it looks kind of flat and not so yummy right now, but yeah, this is like my own design from way back when. Yeah, I haven't actually worn it for many years, but for some reason I find it a bit tight, so I don't know if I've gotten thicker in my head. Let's say that my brain has grown. But when I put it on today, I was like, maybe I should put it in use again because I quite like it. I think it's quite pretty. Like, yeah. So that was fun finding or like having a look at it again, and kind of, well, actually, one of the things what I'm trying to get to is, like I said before, is like, don't be intimidated of trying things, because you might end up doing something that you, or make something that you like. Like if I was critical, I see like when I put on the hat, I know why it's too tight. It's because I've done the Estonian braid a little too tight, so the tension is not the best. But hey, you tried, you did something. Maybe you made a garment that you can use. That's great. I'm gonna show you another school project of mine, which is actually a embroidery project. And this is also my own design. Again, it is really, first and foremost, to kind of inspire to just to try. Like draw a design that you like, or create something of whatever scraps or leftovers you have. Because something like this, you could embroider on a jumper, or maybe mittens, or, something. Use different techniques. It's not like, I'm like, all of you embroiders out there, don't be harsh. This is like a school kid work, but it is what it is. But I think it's just about like trying, right? Yeah. And I'm done with the school projects now. I know I'm been babbling about all these things, and maybe it's not even of any interest to you. If not, I'm sorry about that. Hopefully I have figured out how to put in, what's it called? How to section out the things. Oh, I can't think of the word now. Anywho, I'm gonna show you a last thing that is kind of like made up out of my own head. I don't think I'm gonna show that one. Is gonna be for another time. I made also like a pouch like this. This is also some scrap yarn that I used up. It's Tunisian crochet, I think it is the technique called. It's just a very simple, I have not lined it. I have just sewn the zipper straight onto the fabric, like sewn it down so it doesn't like flare or anything. And my idea for the design, it was that I wanted to look like it was a little bit faded, and that's why this pattern doesn't go all the way out. So it's kind of like not faded, but maybe worn out or used, or I don't know. It was just a vision that I had, and I like it the way it is. You might disagree with me, that's fine. But I liked it. But yeah, there's also a nice way of, if you have nice way of using up, for example, cotton yarns, because this is cotton, I believe. No, I'm not sure actually. I was gonna say if it is no, actually I think it is Saffran by Drops Garn Studio. And I mean, I've been using it mostly with like as a notion pouch, but like quite honest, you could use it as like a purse kind of thing, out in the night having fun. So yeah, my intent is kind of trying to inspire you to try, and also actually also to remind myself that I am capable of more than I sometimes give myself credit to. In other words, not talk myself down, not think that everybody else is better than I am. Not saying that I'm better than anybody else, it's just that I don't need to talk myself down. I know sufficiently enough to be making things, and I'm sure most of you are. It's just we are so used to following patterns step by step that we sometimes don't kind of think for ourselves anymore. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Well, actually, I'm gonna show you the last thing as well that I had thought about showing you, but then I decided not to. But I'm gonna do it after all because it is in the same spirit of inspiring you and reminding myself that I am capable of more than I maybe give myself credit to. The story behind this sweater here, oh, it's not easy to show. It's dark blue. Oh, there it is. Oh, dog hair. Sorry about that. The story behind this sweater is that my man had a sweater that he loved, like really, really, really loved. And the reason was that was a sweater that his father used to wear, and that was kind of my words. Oh, long story short, my man, he lost his dad a couple years prior me getting together with him. So this was kind of like oh, this bothering me. I can't say the word now. What's the word for it when you're attached to something because it's reminding you of a person? Yeah, not able to think. Anywho, that jumper that he had kind of this pattern to it, which is like very simple, like a broken rib type of thing, and those kind of lacy bit and a sort of cabling bit. But it was knitted on the machine, which is probably knit on something needles like this, like 1 millimeter or something, and I was not about to knit a copy of it because the one after his father was falling apart. You know, it was so broken and was just beyond repair, and he would wear it all the time. So I decided to make a copy of it, but in a thicker yarn. I believe it's Folk from Sandnes garn. So it is a superwash wool, in the hopes that it would be more durable to you, like usage and stuff. And yeah, what I sometimes do is like when I can't be bothered to figure out the numbers or something, then I maybe find a pattern that is in the same has the same weight of yarn that I'm using and figure out my gauge compared to that gauge and just take the numbers from there and work from there. And also I was using the measurement from the sweater from his father, like for the length of the body, for the length of the arms, because I knew that fitted him perfectly. So what I'm trying to say with all this rambling is that just like with sewing, if you have a garment, you know, you can trace the bits of the garment and like make your own pattern and sew something the same. This goes for knitting as well. Like you, and especially like if you do know how to sew, you can do the same thing. You understand the logic behind it. It's just to measure those things and try to really bad at explaining today. I'm sorry about that. But I hope you are being inspired, getting inspired. Like if you have a garment that is so dear to you for a reason, or you want to make a copy of, but you don't have the pattern, it's to count the stitches and to measure the length and width, and you know, you are able to do something like that. I mean, like, this is not the greatest thing I've ever created, but I'm really, really like happy with the way it turned out. considering I didn't really have a pattern, you know. I just used my head for a change, and it turned out just fine. So don't be afraid to try and just go for it, because luckily you can unravel if it goes a little bit awry and reknit, because yarn is beautiful in that way. You can always reuse it. But okay, enough about all of that. I guess I can do the acquisitions now, because I have a little bit and I have some more coming, but I'm gonna go through what I have received by now. Okay, let me start off with that I bought this book, Julekos med klumpelumpe. I had actually no plans of buying this, because it has mostly baby garments or children's garments, and as you know, if you are returning viewer, is that I have only grown-up kids. Like, there is no babies. Well, I did become an aunt just recently, but I don't have like so many kids in my life to knit all these beautiful garments to. But when I opened this book and I saw this gorgeous little, I'm gonna have to do it like this little gorgeous doll, I just had to have the book. There's several variations of this doll in this book. They're like different hairstyles and stuff, but I'm showing you this now because I don't want to show you the pattern. It is a book, it is paid for, so isn't she adorable? So, and for this doll, there is a pattern for these really cute pants. So I could really I'm gonna make these trousers for the doll, and I could make these for my niece. Maybe. When she's a little bit older, and like it's kind of fun when she can play with this. But anyway, it's so cute. And then you also have like, there is some jacket you can make. This one is like the one that is there, trousers and hats and booties and scarves. And there's also a lot of very beautiful designs. Like I said, for kids, there's some for grown-ups. Let me look at this. Isn't this just so gorgeous? It's so cute. So yeah, that is what I wanted to make. But as I've been so good at using up all my scraps, I didn't really have anything to make these beauties out of. So today, as it happens to be, I got a package with the yarn that I ordered. So this is Pure Merino by Gjesdal. And this is number 127. It's kind of like, I think it was called sand or something. It's kind of like a beigey color. Looks a little bit lighter and brighter on screen than it is. It's more of a beigey color. And this is gonna be the body, the face and stuff. And then I bought this brown color that I can make hair out of. And I haven't decided quite yet like what kind of hairstyle I'm gonna be making on the doll, because there's so many options, you know. So I have 2 balls of that. And then I bought this yellow there, which is gonna be those pants that I was talking about just a second ago. And for those pants, there is this ruffle going through, and they're supposed to be like a thinner yarn. So I'm gonna match it with this one. It's not 100% match, but it's okay. This is leftover from my koivua, so that's gonna be perfect. And also I pulled out this one from my stash. Yeah, this one is from stash. Those were bought. Yeah, and this one is the last one is bought. This is white, and it's gonna be like the underwear for a doll. And then I'm gonna make the jacket out of this really sweet pink color. And I have another one. It's kind of the same type of yarn, but I'm not sure. This might be like it is too close for the skin color. Like, but I'm thinking like if I make this with like, because I was thinking making a jacket out of it, and if I maybe add some stitches with some color, so it kind of frames in, like, yeah, maybe I'll make a jacket or something out of this. We'll see. So that was one of my purchases, one of my big purchases. Actually, before we're gonna move on to my another purchase that I had, or that, yeah, I guess we're gonna, yeah, one more acquisition I'm gonna show you. It's like, if you like making toys, I'm not a huge toy maker, but sometimes I fall for some patterns. And this one is one of this one is one of them. Isn't she sweet? This is Bonbon pattern by Susan Clodino. And what is brilliant with this pattern is that I believe all Susan Clodino patterns are written in the way that you do not do any sewing. You knit the parts and you always knit them together with next part. So this, like, it's not like you end up with a whole bunch of different small little body parts that you have to sew together. Everything is going, like, it's not going, it's put together organically all the way up. I mean, look at their cute. And you know, since I liked it so much, this pattern, I haven't got only one. And I haven't got only two. I got three. So these are siblings. Yeah, in my head is a story about this. This is a little sister called Pearl. And the boy, these are twins. And his name is Oliver. No, sorry. This is Oliver and this is Twist. Yeah, don't ask me. It just fit it in my head and that's how it worked out. But yeah, she has a lot of really, really great patterns. So if you like making toys, I do recommend Susan Clodino. Her patterns are really beautiful and great. Easy to follow, easy to assemble. Like I said, there's no sewing in the end. You do everything as you go. And I mean, like, look at even those little tails. Aren't they cute? And this is also made out of leftover yarns that I had. I believe this is like a, was it a fairy tale yarn or something? Anyway. And I guess I'm gonna do the last acquisition and then I'm gonna go over to plants and then a little bit of sit and knit with me. Oh, that reminds me, I haven't told you that I have made quite a bit of progress on my blanket, but I can show you that in a minute. So yeah, when I was knitting my love note, I suddenly realized, or like with that project, I just couldn't be bothered to be doing the magic loop, on the sleeves. So I wanted to try out a shorter needle, but I haven't been so satisfied, or like I haven't enjoyed knitting with the ones I had tried previously. So I bought one size in, is it Jagu Twist? I'm suddenly unsure of the name of the thing that I bought. Yeah, it is Twist. And I really liked it, so I decided to invest in a set of Jagu Twists. And I'm so happy I did that because it was a very enjoyable way of knitting the sleeve, not having to pull the needle in and out all the time as you do with the magic loop, even though I do like magic loop as well. But yeah, Tiago, this twist set, twist those tiny needles, because the short, like, I combined one of the shortest ones with one of the longer ones, like that, and it was just so lovely to knit like that. The only thing that I had to be conscious of is like holding my needle differently, or not maybe even holding so much the needle as maybe holding the fabric in a way. But if you've been thinking about it and you haven't done it yet, try it. Like maybe try it with one size needle on your next project and see how you like it, and maybe then splurge some and invest in a set or something, because I think I'm gonna have a lot of use for this set. So I do need a lot, and we need good tools when you're working on something so much as we knitters often do. Then we are worth proper tools. So yeah, I have a couple of plans. I have mentioned other plans before, and they are still very much to go. But I have a couple new plans, ideas that I wanna, or projects that I wanna knit, that I have not mentioned before. One of them is a shawl by Lene Tøsti called Duggfrisk, and that shawl has been on my radar for the longest of time. I've seen it quite a few times on Instagram, so I keep on being reminded of like I want to make that shawl one day. And now I have actually purchased the pattern for it, and I have an idea which yarns I want to use for that pattern. And this is the set, because I am craving some pink now. So I haven't knitted with pink for a while now. This yarn is the yarn that I showed a while back as an option for the MCAL, which is Blyge Blomer by Ull Design. And I want to pair it with this beautiful silk mohair by Garnbutikken Fortuna, Rose Quartz. And I think they are such a beautiful match. It kind of washes out a little bit in the light. They match better in like real life, I guess is what I was trying to say. The light is quite cold that I'm using now because it's dark outside. Well, quite dark. It's gloomy. It's been raining. I think that's gonna be beautiful. So beautiful. Yeah. So that's gonna be a future project. And also there was a pattern release for a sweater I've been seeing also on Instagram for a while now, which is called Nuage sweater. Sorry if I butchered the name, but it's written by Valentina Bogdanova. And I'm thinking of making it out of this cowgirl blues yarn called Writing in the Sand. Because it calls for a lace yarn and a fingering weight yarn, so I'm gonna see if I have something in my stash that I can match it with that works, or like would look good with this, or if I have to purchase something. But I think this yarn would be beautiful for that design. Soft color changes. I think so. I'll do a swatch and see how it works. But that's also in the future. They're probably gonna leave it more towards summertime, or like spring, summertime, because it's gonna be more of an airy sweater. So yeah, that's the future project. Yeah. So that was all of my works in projects. My projects? No. Whoops, works in project. Yeah. Sorry. My mind. So what has happened since last? Oh yeah, so this is it for knitting content, I guess. Wasn't it? Oh, there's one more thing. Like, I'm gonna post a snippet of a video of me knitting because I had a few questions about how I knit. It's not the greatest like footage in the sense that I don't have proper tools to have the camera in the right angle to be like getting proper footage, but at least you will get an idea of how I hold my needles, how I work, like hold the yarn and everything. I will try to record a better video in the future. But yeah, now that's it for the knitting contest. So if that's what you're here for and you're not interested to stay for the chitter chatter, you're welcome to go. And I'll see you hopefully next time. But if you are interested, then let me grab my knitting. I'm gonna have to go over there. Oh, a creaky table. There. Let me just pull it out of the basket. It's becoming bigger and bigger for a second now. I've actually done quite a bit of progress on this since last time. Let's see if I can find the marker. Yeah, last time I showed it to you, I was down there, so I've added quite a few rows since last. But yeah, so about my life. I have a grandmother who turned 102 years old. 102, can you just imagine? It's mind-blowing. She's been always saying to us all about her life, well, as long as I can remember, that she was going to live till she was 120. So she's doing well on that plan of living till 120 years of age. But yeah, she is a sweetheart. Unfortunately, I have not been able to see her or visit her for quite a while. I missed her 100th birthday because of COVID. I wasn't able to travel. That's because of COVID restrictions at the time. And yeah, but she's now 102. That's quite a accomplishment, if you ask me. I hear stories of her sitting there, drawing, singing, like having the greatest time of her life. I also hear, of course, that she misses maybe seeing more family, but with the high age, she doesn't always remember the family she does have, or that they have visited her. So yeah, but yeah, 102. Wow, like think about those genes that I have. I'm gonna be here forever. Oh yeah, no, she's a lovely woman. I've heard stories of her knitting and making things, but I cannot remember ever seeing her knitting. I do remember I think it was a pair of socks that was lying on a table somewhere half finished, but I don't think those ever got finished. Because I think at one point, you know, she just stopped because she'd grown up in a time and age where there was war, there was difficult times, there was like, she was one of 18 kids. Because yeah, not everybody, I mean, not all children had the pleasure of growing up because the times were harder back then, you know, living on a farm and whatever healthcare was available. I don't think it was available for everybody, to be quite honest, back in the day. And yeah, I remember her telling us stories of her being out in the fields when she was just 7 years of age and taking care of the cows and looking after them. So yeah, it's quite amazing what this woman has lived through and created through the years and stuff. Yeah, that's fun. What else? I missed out on a knitting cafe here the other day because I was invited, not because, no. I was invited to be a part of just a knit evening, about an hour's drive from Oslo, to Kongsberg, at a shop called Spinnekroken. And that is a shop that I've been wanting to check out for the longest time. Yeah, for quite a long time, because that shop was mentioned in very good words by Gunniren from Gunnis Englestrik. And I've been wanting to go there ever since. I looked up the web page for the shop just before, and I just like was reminded once again how many interesting yarns that she has, different yarns that she has that's not like readily available maybe in other shops here in Norway. Because the most common yarns that are more available, they are by Sandnes or Sandnes garn, Rauma garn. Hillesvåg is starting to be quite nicely spread as well, so it's easier to get a hold of than what I can remember from before. Maybe it's just me not being aware, but anyway. And you have Viking garn, which is a Norwegian yarn as well. Can't think of anything right now, but yeah, those are like the most readily available yarns. So it's fun when you find stores with a little bit different brands. I think it was among others Brooklyn Tweed that she had, and that is like a name I've only heard of but have not yet had the pleasure to try, so I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah, so unfortunately I wasn't able to participate this time, but there's another evening on the 7th of December, I believe it was. So I am hoping that I can drive out there then and be a part of this knitting community, which I find to be so loving and so kind and so wonderful. You know, I can again refer back to what I said in the beginning of these 3 lovely ladies from 3 different countries, and them being so supporting and loving and yeah, just so beautiful, because we have our insecurities in one way or the other, and they were just, I mean, like, my heart was just singing and just bursting in just happiness. It was so lovely. I was just beaming for the longest of time afterwards. So just being able to be part of this knitting community is amazing. I just love it. It's been such an enrichment to my life. So I really enjoy being part of it and participating in one way or other. What else? I am working on my health. I have great support from different people in my life, like both friends and family, but also there is this really great support from the government that I'm participating in. So I'm taking part of different webinars, seminars, and hopefully I will one day be back to 100% again, or at least to a degree back to a yeah, how should I say this? I feel like in a way, because of the fatigue that I'm experiencing, I am kind of missing out on life. Quite often I say no to things because I'm too tired. So I'm kind of hoping, like, going through these different things, that I will somehow find the strength, that energy to participate life fully, and get more enjoyment out of life, because I miss having the energy to go out dancing, for example, because I always loved dancing. And it doesn't have to be dancing as in going to clubs or anything, but like maybe joining a dancing group of sorts, or maybe joining a choir, because singing has been a big part of my life. I like, just a little bit of like background from my school years is, or actually even before that, is that my mom always put me into different kind of dancing groups and singing groups. And when I started in the first grade, I had to go through an audition, because my mom wanted me to audition for this music class. So I have I have forgotten a lot, so I would say that I have like basic knowledge of reading notes. I can, like, with a little bit of practice, play a piece on the piano, but I'm not like fluent in it by a reach in it even. And I have some knowledge of how to sing, so to say, correctly, but again, since I haven't been singing too much, I maybe might have forgotten some of the tricks and whatever, but I'm sure that I still have some of the muscle memories, that if I would pick it up and like join somewhere, I would probably do quite well. But yeah, that was like 9 years, from the first grade to ninth grade I was in a music class. So yeah, we had like extra classes every week compared to the other parallel classes, like whatever you call them. Every week, yeah, we had extra classes in music. So that was singing, reading notes, understanding rhythm, and yeah. So that was a great, huge part of me back then. And yeah, I would love that to maybe be part of my life in one way or other also now. So hoping for some more energy, some more, yeah. I'm choosing to think positively about the future, about doing things that I love more and more, be more conscious about my choices, and making sure I do things that bring me joy, and kind of give myself the same advice that I've been giving to the youth in the house and in their friendship kind of groups, is that it's never too late to change your direction in life. Like if you feel like changing to a different line of work, then it's never never too late to learn a new trade and change what you're doing today to something different. So I'm trying to apply that same thought process on myself, and like say to myself that I am worthy of living a full or like life full of content, and like feeling like my heart is full, like when I'm like do things that you love. So yeah, I can notice that I'm getting a little bit tired here, because my thoughts are all over the place. I'm rambling, and this is partially where my eyes start traveling, because I'm kind of like grasping at different things. But it's just the way I am. It's kind of this little quirky side of me, I guess. So I hope that doesn't bother you too much. If you're still hanging on, if you haven't kind of fallen off of the ramble already and left me to be here by myself, which is also fine and understandable. So yeah, but yeah, I guess I'm gonna finish off with that. I really would love that if you have some great suggestions for projects, for scrap yarns, then that you write a line or two in my Ravelry group, Beneath Soul. I will link it below. Or if you have anything else you want to say, come say hi. I think it's so wonderful to hear from you and your thoughts, and both short and long comments are so appreciated. There is really no comparison, because yeah, there just isn't. It's wonderful to hear from every single one of you. And if I can even like inspire one of you, I'm more than content as well. It's because I'm just doing this for fun, for enjoyment, for sharing what I love. And yeah, this is me in a nutshell, I guess. Okay, I dragged it out long enough and my mind is really spinning all over now, so I don't have like good subjects to talk about anymore. I just want to say thank you for hanging on for this long, if you're still hanging on. And thank you for spending some precious time with me out of your day. I do appreciate it. It's so lovely to have you here. And I hope to see you again next time. So yeah. Have a lovely, lovely October. No, not October. November. We're in November. Sorry. Have a lovely November. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Bye.